I just met a nurse who told me that 40 more nurses are being hired in her hospital for contact tracing. She said, I got 4 kids and I can't speak up about this because I work for the hospital, but she said this thing is not going away. Hey everyone, welcome to Freedom Lovers Show. I'm your host, David James Rodriguez, and the COVID thing isn't going to go away until you and I say enough. How far can the county push you? How far can your governor, your county supervisors, your mayor, your politicians, your representatives, how far can they push you until you say, I am done with this baloney. I've had enough. I'm not going to participate in my own slavery, and I'm not going to give you any more tax money. I'm not going to give you any more allegiance. I'm not going to be loyal to you or your particular organization until you leave me alone. My friends, it's really getting to that point because we are 7 months into the fake pandemic, and I just heard that Gavin Newsom is considering signing and looking at legislation to fund vaccine vans to go throughout California to vaccinate you with toxic chemicals for your safety. My friends, once you realize that government authority is illegitimate and you are a sovereign human on the earth, how liberating is it? And I know it's difficult because you might not have a partner or a supportive member in your family who understands this, but just know, I understand this and I'm not going to back down. Freedom is everything. Nobody wants to be in jail with your family. Nobody wants to be a slave. So at what point do you say, I'm not going to participate with you guys. I'm going to withdraw my energy from your organization. I'm not going to support you in any way. I'm not going to justify your violation of my natural rights. I mean, it really is to that point where you have to say no. And if you don't say no, then you're going to be enslaved. Because me and my friends, we're building communities. We're building solutions based on consent, based on voluntary relationships, like all moral people do. But the state uses coercion. They force you to do stuff. And when are going to say no? I don't want to be forced to do anything. I don't care if it's forced to brush my teeth, forced to eat healthy food. And if you noticed with this whole scamdemic, they're talking about this virus, and never do they talk about nutrition. Never do they talk about sunlight. Never do they talk about lifestyle, sleep, hydration. My friends, statism is falling apart. People are starting to realize they own themselves, and no matter what you say in your ivory towers of the government, the capitals, the city council meetings, you don't own me, okay? This is what we're realizing. So step onto the platform of freedom, the visionary enterprise, which is self-ownership, the non-aggression principle, and the self-defense principle. Because these are rock solid. This is the next phase of human evolution. And whether they're hiring contact tracers in your hospital, whether they're going to fund vaccine vehicles to go throughout your city and county and state, all that is immaterial if you don't participate with it and if you start building relationships with moral, peaceful people around you. So when the thug boots come, you don't call them for your help. Those are the ones who are coming to enforce it. These are called order followers. These are the most dangerous people. You say, look, this is a violation according to that county order, according to the law, according to criminal code, according to Supreme Court case. And they say, talk with your politician, talk with the judge. I'm just doing my job. So they have given up their mind to some cult belief that someone else is responsible for their action. Hey, I'm not doing this. Someone else is doing this to you, as they kidnap your children and force needles into your arm or whatever diabolical actions that they might take. So get involved, my friends. Get in the game. This thing's not going away. And here I am waiting for true transformational leaders like Tony Robbins, Gary Vaynerchuk, Ty Lopez, Grant Cardone. Where are you guys? Don't you know that the data has been cooked? Don't you know that this is all a scam? But I think maybe what's happening is that they realize there is a global plan to enslave humanity, and they're probably playing their cards right. You know, maybe playing some poker, maybe doing some, who knows, some chess. I don't know. But the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, and the Bilderbergers, and the Council on Foreign Relations, Skull and Bones fraternity out of Yale, Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations. I mean, these guys have been planning for generations. So maybe they're aware of the psychopaths behind it, and they're kind of tic-tac-toe jumping around, hopscotching it. And hey, respect for them. I love those guys that I mentioned, for the entrepreneur and business content that they put out there, and the heart and the love. And I believe those guys are good humans. So it's interesting as we wait to see what these guys do, because it really is a fight for good and evil. If you use coercion, you're evil. You're a bad dude. Stop using coercion. Stop saying someone else is responsible for your actions. And if you got to quit your job, quit your job. If you got to move into an apartment instead of a house, move. If you got to move out of California, then move. If you got to move to your RV or live in your car, then do that. Because it's getting to that point, guys, you really have to see where this is going. And then pretty soon everybody's going to be inside the house because it's going to be wintertime, and there's going to be people getting flus, and they're probably going to try to crank the numbers up. And as Bill Gates is laughing, saying, oh, it's going to be a second wave, and this is going to get their attention. You can see the lack of care that they have for you. The government does not care for you. They're a parasite, and they're sucking your life force. They're sucking your energy, your money. They're forcing your kids to go in school. So this is why I'm hopeful, because statism is going down. As you and I discuss organizations that use coercion, intimidation, and threats, we're not going to participate with these guys. We want to engage with voluntary organizations. And people say, well, what about the cops? Who are you going to call the cops if you're getting robbed or getting violated? Well, there's a lot of private security out there. In fact, private security outnumbers public security officers. And if you look up Threat Management Center out of Detroit, Michigan, you'll find that they've been doing it for 20 years. Very successful on a voluntary, consensual basis. So don't participate in your own slavery. Do not consent to the thuggish violations of your natural rights, your natural freedoms that God gave you. And if you don't like God, then say nature or your mama or your daddy. But this does not belong to the city, county, state, and federal governments. It's yours. Your right arm, your left arm, your heart, your organs, that's yours. Don't give it up, my friends. And stick with me and all the community that are around us, that we're building and empowering, helping each other, because we are building a voluntary world, one relationship at a time. And we're not going to stop until we have a voluntary world.